Recoveries in breaststroke differ significantly from the other strokes for one simple reason. The arms need to be recovered under the water. And that one simple change has a dramatic impact in terms of the challenge that the arm recoveries create. In contrast to the other strokes, the arm recoveries now have the potential to significantly slow swimmers down. Faster swimmers navigate the arm recoveries more effectively. Hi everyone, Andrew here, helping you help your swimmers get faster. The reason the arm recoveries in breaststroke are so important can be summarized in one word: drag. Because the arms are being recovered under the water, the recoveries can now create a ton of drag, which is going to slow swimmers down. The more effectively swimmers can recover the arms without creating a lot of drag or creating as little drag as possible, the faster they will swim. Just like the other strokes, the arm recoveries need to be fast and they need to be direct in order to be effective, but it's a lot more important for the recoveries to be direct and fast, because if they're slow, swimmers are going to be exposed to more drag for a longer period of time, and if they're not direct, they're also going to be creating a lot more drag. As much as possible, swimmers have to recover their arms forward as quickly as possible, and they have to do so as directly as possible, and they have to do so in a way that minimizes the amount of drag that they create. Swimmers can't afford to get their arms stuck under the chest. They have to get out of that position as quickly as possible. They need to get forwards as quickly as possible. While there are some exceptions, most effective breaststrokers will tend to recover the arms right at the surface of the water, and they'll get their arms to the surface of the water as quickly as they can, and from that point, they will recover them directly forward. There is some variation here. There's some people that don't do that exactly. However, it tends to be the strategy that is most effective for most swimmers. Again, what really matters is that the recoveries are direct and that they are fast, and getting them up to the surface of the water quickly and then moving them forward quickly allows swimmers to recover quickly and recover directly. And it puts them in a great position to set up the next stroke without any hesitation, which allows them to start creating more propulsion sooner, which means that they're going to be swimming faster. Let's take a look at how elite athletes make it happen. So if we watch this swimmer here, they're going to finish the pull right about there, and then they're going to move their hands up, and then they're going to move the hands forwards. And you can see that the hands are moving forwards mostly at the surface of the water. So this swimmer is going to bring them up and forwards a little bit at the same time rather than bringing them up directly forward. But once they're up, everything is moving forward and they're moving right at the surface of the water. And what that allows them to do is, from this position here, there's no hesitation. As soon as the arms are recovered, as soon as they're back out in front, he doesn't have to make any adjustments. He can get right into the next stroke cycle. That's going to allow him to maintain a higher stroke rate. There's no wasted motion, and it's going to allow him to still effectively set up the next stroke. That means more propulsion, and that means more speed. So an effective recovery is going to minimize the amount of drag that's created, and it's going to allow for more propulsion to be created sooner. So again, the finish of the pull here, the hands are brought up to the surface. They're brought forward a little bit in this case as they're being brought up. And then once they're at the surface, that's where you get the full extension forward. So again, the recoveries are quick. There's no hesitation here. There's no pause under the chest. You can see that the hands are moving. If we kind of go frame by frame here, the hands never stop moving. As soon as he finishes the pull here, they're moving into the recovery, and they're always moving directly forwards. He's not recovering the hands low, which tends to create a lot of drag. He's not bringing them up and out of the water, which can be effective for some swimmers, but if it's not done well, it can interfere with the rest of the stroke. So again, everything is moving up, and then it's moving forward. Everything is very direct, and that's going to allow him to get into the next stroke cycle very quickly. Another important point to note is that some swimmers will recover the hands up and forwards and then dive down with the hands. And you can see that there is no diving down with this swimmer. Everything is coming directly forwards and there's no drop in the hand position. And so a lot of swimmers, when they do that, the hands are going to go down, but now they're not in position to get into the next stroke cycle quickly. So they either have to bring their hands up or they have to wait until their body naturally rises back up to the surface. And again, that's going to create more time. It's going to take more time, and that means a slower recovery, and that means more time until the next stroke cycle can be initiated. So again, everything is moving directly forwards. It's not moving down, and that's a key aspect of an effective recovery. The directness is not so much that they get up to the surface and then they move forwards, it's that they stay at the surface as well. So we've got two swimmers here swimming side by side, executing effective recoveries, and we'll see the same skills performed here as well as some subtle differences. So what we're going to see is that everything is moving forwards. If we watch the swimmer that's slightly ahead, as she finishes the pull here, everything moves straight up. And so in contrast to the previous swimmer, this swimmer brings things straight up and then moves them forwards right at the surface. But again, they're right at the surface, and then there's no dip down in the front. She gets right into the next stroke cycle. So extremely direct. She's coming right up to the surface with the recovery, driving everything forwards, and then getting right into the next stroke cycle. So a very, very clean, very effective recovery. And this swimmer in particular has a very high stroke rate, and it's not so much that she spins through the pull, she has just removed all of the unnecessary components during the recovery so that she can be as clean and as crisp. And because there aren't unnecessary components that are taking more time, she can keep her stroke rate up without sacrificing the pull. Now, if we watch the swimmer up top, she's going to finish her pull there. She's also going to move her hands right up, and so that you can see there's very little forward movement until right there where she's got her hands up at the surface. So again, she can be very direct with that. Now, she also has a slight dive compared to the other swimmer, but it is very, very, very subtle compared to what you may see with other swimmers. And again, she gets right into the next stroke cycle as well. And so she just has a slightly deeper pull as compared to the first swimmer, and that's really what the difference is going to be. But in both cases, the hands come straight up, they come straight forwards, and the swimmer gets into the next stroke cycle without unnecessary time spent in front of the stroke, correcting for any mistakes in terms of where the hands end up. So again, effective pull, coming straight up, and then coming straight forward. So a very clean, very simple, very elegant recovery that's very effective at creating a lot of speed. So same skills again, just from a different angle. This is going to be a 200 swimmer, so it's going to be a little bit different. We're going to have a little bit more patience out in front, but there's going to be the same thing. So again, he's going to finish his pull right here. The hands move straight up to the surface. They're not really moving forwards much, and once they do get to the surface, now we see the extension forward. And again, the hands are right up at the surface. He's going to dive slightly down a little bit. Part of that is because he's gliding a lot further. One, that's the skill set of this swimmer, but two, this is over 200 meters. He has more time to be patient prior to getting into the next stroke cycle, and he's taking advantage of a very effective body position and a really strong kick. So still, same thing though, finishes pull here, hands are right up at the surface, and then he's moving forwards, and everything is moving right into the next stroke cycle. So again, it's the same thing. You don't see the hands with a lot of up and down motion once they're moving forward. Everything is very direct, and he doesn't move everything forward until he gets the hands up in position at the surface of the water to move everything forward. That's going to allow him to keep drag low and recover quickly to get out of that position fast and get into the next stroke cycle in a way that allows him to maintain as much propulsion. He doesn't have to rush the setup of the stroke, and he also doesn't have to slow down his stroke rate. So he's able to get into the position that he wants as quickly as possible without creating a ton of drag. These are relatively simple skills, not necessarily simple to perform. And so if you want to learn more about how to help swimmers recover their arms effectively, get back into position quickly so that they can create propulsion quickly, check out the video below.